Welcome to episode 149 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my co-host, Warren Sklar, is back. How are you? You were on a little honeymoon last week.
I am sunburned and peeling. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, you did look sunburned when I saw some of the pictures you posted. I was wondering.
Better. This part of my face was coming off right here, so it's coming back. So it's nice to be back.
Yeah, and Mr. Jeff Gamet's back on the show. Welcome back, Jeff. Glad you're here.
Well, thank you for inviting me back. It's always great to get to hang out with both of you.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff to talk about this week. And a lot of our discussion today is going to be actually about the AirTag and our first week's experiences. We'll all have some different views, I can just anticipate. And I think we'll have some good conversation about that because it's been popular. And then the iPad Pro just went up on pre-order last week. We'll talk about that. Lots of news, always things fun to talk about here. So let's just go and dive right into the stories this week. Unless you're living under a rock, Apple released iOS and iPadOS 14.5.1 with fixes to app tracking transparency bug, WebKit issues, and security issues. They released this minor security update, which came up a week just prior to the release of 14.5. This was this past Monday on May 3rd. And they also released an update to the older devices, too, for security 12.5.3, who are still on those older devices that don't support the latest operating system. Basically, what Apple said was it's fixing an issue with app tracking transparency where some users were previously disabled, allow apps to request to track in settings may not receive the prompts after re-enabling it. But I had thought there was some other things in here as far as maybe some WebKit issues and some vulnerability. I believe there is here.
The big WebKit issue. Sorry, I'm just
go ahead.
Jumping right in. The big WebKit issue is a 0-day exploit that affects iPhone, iPad, and Mac. So
that's right, because 11.3.1 for Mac Big Sur came out as well.
So my recommendation is if you haven't updated yet, as soon as this show is done, go update.
Yes, please update. And Warren, you're on beta, so this doesn't affect you, right? But
I'm living in the future. Hopefully, sometimes when these emergency patches come out, the beta doesn't get those patches built into the betas, so I could be living even more dangerously than normal
you could be
until the next beta comes out with that fix in it.
Yeah, you definitely could be. And they also released for WatchOS 7.4.1 with some security improvements in there as well on 9 to 5 Mac here. They say basically the same thing, the transparency for app tracking. I don't think they really spotted much else in the update for the WatchOS, but iPadOS and iOS definitely, all of them. You should update them all, and make sure you get your Apple Watch update up to date as well. Anybody have any comments on the watch? I don't think we have much to say.
You definitely don't want a 0-day vulnerability on the watch because you don't know what they could do with that data.
Yeah, for sure.
On your watch.
Well, considering the fact that you can't even roll back from beta on WatchOS, it makes me wonder if an Apple Watch was exploited, would there be any way to recover from it, or would Apple just have to say it's time for you to get a new watch?
Yeah, I don't know how much data actually keeps on it though. That's a joke. I think it's everything comes from the phone. I think except for the only thing really stored on it is music. You can put some music on the drive.
Well, health and fitness data is. Do you think
it's actually on? Do you think it's reading up right? It's not actually there. So, do you think it's just reading it from the phone?
It's at least temporarily on the watch because any data that the watch collects lives on the watch and then gets pushed over to the phone, and not everything happens immediately.
So, do you think it actually transfers it over briefly to the watch, or do you think it's just reading that data from the watch? And if somebody actually, hypothetically, if somebody could hook up a USB cable to the watch into a computer, do you think that data is actually seen on the watch, or it's just kind of relaying what's coming through the phone?
Yes and no. So it's relaying stuff that comes through the phone, but the stuff that the watch itself is collecting that then goes to the phone is cached temporarily on the watch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know the answer either, but
Well, it's kind of like
update.
I mean, though the watch, there's especially when you have the cellular version of the watch, if you have cellular service on it, you want it to be a standalone device. People just bring their watch, don't bring their phone, and be able to listen to music and tracks all your health stuff. And then when you get back and get your iPhone, it'll sync up between both devices. So
it syncs up, but it's tracking. So it's tracking your health, but is it reading the health from your current? I haven't run without my watch. If you run without your watch, and you don't have cellular, can you track your fitness? Can you see your previous fitness on the watch?
Yeah, because it still senses it. It just stores it locally until you get back with your phone and syncs back up.
There's some of that data held there. For me, the bigger concern isn't so much whether or not they're getting what my heart rate is when I'm out for a walk or a run, so they know that I really need to get in better shape. It's that if they have compromised the watch, what access will that give them back to the phone?
Right.
So could they use the watch to plant or take advantage of other exploits on the phone?
Well, if they wear a mask and they have the watch and they have iOS 15, then maybe they could get into your phone.
15? That isn't out yet.
14.
Yeah, that's living way in the future. Well, what if you have your phone with you and you have your watch on your wrist, your watch is unlocked, and you go past a Wi-Fi network that's known to you, like your local coffee shop. Right. So now your watch automatically just joins the Wi-Fi network.
Right.
And at that point, you could have some jerk with Wireshark or something.
Yeah,
where they're just watching for these devices, and then they can push out an exploit to the watch as a gateway into the phone.
What happens?
I'm totally speculating here.
Yeah.
Apple put a thing in there that makes your whole hand
go numb.
200-volt shock if somebody's still then you know.
Yeah,
right.
I can imagine just walking past Starbucks, and all of a sudden my hand just explodes.
Dave, tell us about this purple phone.
That wouldn't be pretty. I think we have to move on to the next topic here.
Tell us about this purple iPhone number.
Apple, this on Mac Rumors, Apple begins transition to randomized serial numbers with the purple iPhone 12. They had previously reported Apple's plan to switch to randomized serial numbers for future products starting in early 2021. And this transition has now started with a new purple iPhone 12 model in multiple countries. They have confirmed that the purple iPhone has released last month has a new 10-character serial number format compared to the usual 12 characters for most other Apple products. Apple previously said it randomized serial numbers would initially be 10 characters long, so the purple iPhone 12 appears to be the first Apple product with a randomized serial number. So it remains to be seen if they're going to add other things, other devices in here, maybe possibly the iMac or the iPad Pro, some of the new, or even the Apple TV. That they would have randomized numbers. So I guess Apple's just looking to keep things secure and more random than because there's people out there who love to have there's been plenty of those serial number websites you can easily put in the serial number and it's easy to track what the device is. So maybe the Apple's trying to make changes to this. What do you think, Jeff, on this?
I think this is another step in Apple's ongoing efforts to obfuscate who we are online.
Oh.
And they're doing this with MAC addresses also, aren't they?
I didn't know that. Oh, are they?
I think they are. Well, at least see, this is awful. We've had a whole year where we've been in pandemic mode, and all these things that I normally know, I'm suddenly not sure of. But I thought they were doing that, or doing randomized MAC addresses.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at it.
I know they have a KB article about how to set up your Wi-Fi access point, and it says don't do the lock to a MAC address thing because that's just not going to work, and which would make sense if they're randomizing that number.
As of 2020, now Apple is enabling random MAC addresses for everything.
Yeah, there we go.
The device does by default.
Okay, so my
You were
pandemic
correct.
brain remembered something. Go me.
Yeah.
You were correct.
So the reason is
go ahead.
security.
Yeah.
Is that the only reason they're doing it?
Security.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a lot. I
guess
mean, Apple, and I can attest to this because a lot of companies, set up databases. Dell is a good example. You can tap into Dell's API in their database with serial numbers and be able to track, in their case, the service tags and be able to tap into their database to know when the warranty expires on this particular Dell product. So in Apple, you can go to their website, put the serial number into their Apple Care, and it'll tell you where what the current status of the device is as far as warranty goes. But you can't. They don't allow it to do that. Where because some places want to set up something where you can have a place to go every time, especially if you maintain your own database, especially in the enterprise. Of the large amounts of serial numbers, because there's companies who own a lot of Macs. As far as I know, Apple doesn't allow you to tap into their systems to track serial number warranties.
They're going to drive them crazy with this. The people who have to track these computers now at these companies are going to be like, really? I bought 20 computers and everyone has a complete. I used to copy and paste so nicely and just change the one number at the end.
Well, that's why they have the captcha you have to always put in when you go to that website because they don't want people tapping into that information. So,
Right.
same thing with iPads and iPhones. There's plenty of companies who do that using Jamf. Of course, they're managing that, and I know Jamf is able to tap into some of that information. The serial number pulls what model and what the machine is, whether it be Mac, iPhone, or iPad, but it still doesn't track the warranty, as far as my understanding. I think that's where Apple Business Manager comes into place, and I'm really going into a deep world here that people probably don't care too much about, but I'll just be brief.
There's three people out there right now that just pulled out a pad and paper, and they're ready to take Business Manager and MDM notes. Yeah,
MDM notes here. But they do have Apple Business Manager where companies do sign up with Apple, so when they go buy their products, they're automatically registered to that company, so it protects the business from if someone were to steal the product, it would be basically a brick because it's registered specifically to that company to that company. So anyway, that's all business. That's not what we're here for. So, but I went off on it. See, even I went off on a tangent today. That sometimes happens. So, let's go ahead and move on. The Brave browser is now released for iOS. It now gains a new playlist feature for queuing video and audio content. I found this interesting. This is in Mac Rumors. The Brave browser, which is available on the iPhone and the iPad, gained a new playlist feature that is designed to save audio and video content in an easy access queue. Users can keep a list of videos, songs, podcasts, and more, and then access them from the Brave browser at any time by tapping the Brave playlist option from the menu. Adding any media to the playlist is as simple as tapping Add to Brave playlist option or long pressing a video or audio file. Other features include autoplay option and drag and drop tools for organizing the items in the playlist. I think this is really cool. And I just saw this today, and this was just released today as we record this. I want to go check this out. What do you think, Jeff? This is pretty awesome, I think.
This is cool. And I'm curious, does this work in the Mac version as well?
Yeah, it doesn't mention it, so I'd be curious to check that out too. Our crack research staff out there is going to have to check onto this and let us know, and if it does.
Yeah.
But this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm an Edge user.
Yeah, me too.
And I really like Edge. It gives me all the benefits of Chrome without the downside of Chrome.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's one of the things I love about Brave. So I have that installed too, so that if I need to do like testing, I've got it. Yep. But that would be a reason for me to use Brave
Yeah.
more often. I mean, that's just a cool feature.
Gonna have to check that out.
I'm not brave enough to use it.
I see what you did there.
Threw that pun in, had to. But worth checking out, the Brave browser. And there's some good browsers out there, and there's bad browsers, like you said. Google Chrome can be difficult. So
I like Chrome. Leave Chrome alone.
I use it for work all the time on my PC. So.
Yeah, so do we.
Then the last story here. This was a Mac Stories, actually. This is there's a music service, Deezer, which I am not a subscriber of, has a new HomePod integration support for high-res audio playback. Late last year, music fans gained the ability to switch to their default music service on the HomePod, and then Pandora was the first to offer the option. Then last November, and has now been joined by Deezer in Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Japan, Mexico, Spain, the UK, and the US. The last country to mention. Similar to other services, Deezer's HomePod voice control functionality lets subscribers play albums, specific tracks and artists, as well as playlists using Siri. However, the most notable feature Deezer's HomePod integration, which was announced by the company today, is that it's hi-fi subscribers. Hint: subscribers will have to listen to high-res audio using. We'll be able to listen to high-res audio using the Apple Smart Speaker.
They have to.
Or they have to, yeah, because they're paying for it. So, what do you think, Warren? I think we're. What do you think, Warren? I think we're starting to see more and more of a trend here with making with Siri the default music service on the HomePod.
Yeah, I mean, especially for Deezer, I don't think I've heard the word Deezer for
Me
about
either.
10 years. It's been a while, so I kind of remember them from the late 2000s. Yeah, no, I mean, I would, the HomePod. Big one that we all have. I would love to hear some hi-fi coming through on that. Can you actually play? Can you actually play anything in hi-fi currently on the HomePod? If you don't have Deezer? Like Apple Music doesn't do lossless. We're talking losses.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm not sure.
And I'm not sure. What's the original one that had the high content with the rapper? It wasn't Kanye West.
Jay-Z.
Yeah, that one. His
Tidal.
Tidal.
Thank you, Tidal.
Can you do Tidal on a HomePod now?
I don't think
Can you
so.
do Tidal anywhere?
I'm not sure.
Actually, I joke. Tidal is still around.
No, it's still around.
It's still around,
I thought it got bought out.
Well, it's still known to have the best quality sound.
But lossless, right?
Yeah, so I'm just curious. I mean, it'd be nice to hear the HomePod, work its magic with this stuff. I haven't really used it to do that, and I know, other people out there hooked it up to their TVs and did the Atmos and all that things, but I haven't done that yet. But anyways, yeah, it's good to have more services on HomePod.
No, I'm glad that, they had implemented that in iOS 14.5, where you could choose your music service via Siri. You can't do it as a default like you can do a browser or a mail app or that kind of stuff, but through Siri you actually can do it. So, which is kind of interesting. To default whatever music service you prefer. So
this says you can't use Tidal. You can't play on the HomePod without AirPlay. So I don't know how
that makes sense.
Well that I don't know how well they sound degrades it all on AirPlay 2 or not, but it's interesting to find out.
Any other thoughts, Jeff?
But Warren summed it up nicely. To reiterate, let as many streaming audio services as possible play natively on HomePod to make HomePod more relevant.
That's right.
Well, going forward, HomePod Mini.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mini only. I'll still hold my trusty HomePods behind me here, so they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Do the minis have the chip, the U1 chip?
Yes.
And they do, and the original HomePod didn't, right? Is that true?
No, I think it does. I
thought they added that afterwards.
The U1
and that's
chip?
a big seller. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the HomePod has a U1.
The original one maybe
No, I
not
don't
had the
think
U1.
so.
You're right. Yeah, whereas the
Right.
Mini does.
So, if you consider this whole AirTag system going, the Mini is the way to go to get more location goodness going in the world of Apple AirTags.
Yep. All right, let's. That's the news for this week. Let's move on and talk beta like we always do. And Warren's back, so we can hear about what. There really isn't much to talk about with beta this week, and the same as last week when beta 1 came out. Beta 1 came out a week ago as we record this, and then beta 2 came out just shortly thereafter. It was a pretty quick release, and it was released to developers, and I believe it's out in the public now as well, and can be downloaded through a public beta or through a developer center. Appears to be just the minor changes, focusing on underhood bugs, performance, and improvements with that and that, this and that. And would you notice anything different on it, Warren?
Not a thing. Nope. It's works just as well as it did before, and looks exactly the same. So I haven't seen anything.
Yeah,
I haven't found anything different either. I'm running it on
iPad.
An iPad.
Yep, and I have it on my camera, which is my iPhone XR, and I haven't noticed anything either. Oh, and an iPad. I actually have both. I have a first-gen iPad Pro 12.9 inch that I put it on.
Nice.
So I get to see both worlds here. I haven't noticed a thing. So, and Mac Rumor says the same thing. If you know anything, let us know. And I don't think they really have much else to talk about here. So, all right. So let's move on. Topic of this week is the AirTag, and I think we're still used to saying AirTags because there's so many of them. I've got 2 AirTags in my hand right now, right? But if you look on it and it says AirTag, that's the name of it, right?
Well, if you have more than one, they're AirTags.
They're AirTags because I have, like I said, 2 in my hand
You
here.
have multiple. I only have one. So you have AirTags. I have AirTag.
AirTag, and I thought it'd just be a good topic to bring up a week after they were released, and all of us have been using them. And Warren, I believe you've been using it on your 2 pooches with the dogs, and you did put some comments in the Mac to the Future group earlier this week, and I'd just like to know, like to hear your first impressions of the AirTag as first relates to that.
Yeah, I was trying to haul one over to show you, but I can't find them. Yeah, so I bought.
That's ironic.
I have it on the hamper. Can't find them, right? Yeah.
No. So I could show you what the screen looks like, but that's not that interesting. I bought.
You could describe it since visually we're not everybody's listening. Most people are listening. So
yes. So anyways, I bought a 4-pack. I bought,
as I did too.
And I had 3 of them engraved. So I had one engraved with Lola, which is one dog. The other one is Charlie, which didn't fit because
come on, there it is.
Oh,
D3.
D3. The other one was Charlie, but you could only have 4 characters, so I had to put like just a C on there. Anyway, so I got one for my mom, and then one just as a spare.
D4.
Which I threw in my backpack. So D1, D2, D3, how original. Anyways,
yeah.
Then I bought 2 of the Apple leather key tag rings and the Vulcan one off the
big
site.
spender.
So yeah, my dog's my dog's wearing each about $70 worth of AirTag paraphernalia on them. But anyways, they look good. We're a little concerned about dogs have been known to get their collars stuck if they're like in a deck or something between wood or something like that. The things on the collar could get stuck in there. So there's a little concern about that. So I might be in the market for something that has the. I've seen collars with built-in for you put the AirTags in the collar. So
there you go.
Like
That's what you need. Little pouch in the collar.
Yeah, pouch in the collar. Yeah.
And then I could repurpose it to Apple leather things somewhere else. But yeah, I mean they look good. They're I did test out like the live track find thing. And even when my dogs aren't moving at all, it's still like right now it just says searching for a signal, try moving to a different location, finding my dog. So I mean, what's that about?
Oh,
Yeah. So
I think that's your microphone.
Huh?
I think that's your microphone stand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you ran the cord against the springs.
Oh, like that.
Don't do that. Yeah, some tunes.
So anyways, I find the location works as far as like, when you go into general location, but when you do the find thing, it's a little wonky. It doesn't seem to work all the time, or it doesn't work for a while, and then once it locks on, it's really good. So that's what I'm kind of finding out with that. And then, there's a whole article I saw you had it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. I want to ask you what your thoughts are, because I more had the article, and I'll put in the show notes. Apple does not recommend does not recommend that you put it on an animal or a person. And our article had said that maybe it's because Apple doesn't want any liability.
That's 100% it. I mean, there's no other reason. Yeah, I said that even before, like, when that article first came out, or when we first heard about it. I'm like, yeah, they just don't want you to call Apple and say, I depended on you to find my dog, and now it's not working. I can't find him. Probably the same with the kids. Although you probably don't need to find the kids as often, you would hope. But in any case, it's all liability. Yes, they do say something about that, there's not that, there could be times where they're not near an iPhone, which I guess if a dog's running through the woods or out in nature, then the odds are there may not be an iPhone near there, where stuff generally ends up, around civilization. An animal could be anywhere in the world. So it's a layer of protection is what I think. If it works and I needed it, it's good. If it doesn't work and I need it, it's no worse than what I had before that. Yeah.
Okay. And you said you gave one to your mom and your mom, I think it was, or just disperse the other. I haven't. I have to know what the other two I have in my hand here. I didn't buy extra keychains yet. So, and you keep looking at the knockoffs on Amazon, and they all look like crap, and they're going to deliver to June.
Wow. Well, you could either drill the hole, or as we saw today, you could split it. You could split it in two and make it wallet size.
I saw both of those, and
so those are options right now.
Both will negate the IP67 water protection,
or double-sided tape and stick it to something.
Just tape it to something.
That's a lot safer. I believe iFixit did do a teardown of it, and they did show through the X-ray showing where you could conceivably drill it, and then of course, Mac Rumors had an article about it too, as far as you could drill it. But not only does it void the warranty, like you said, it really makes things. It won't be waterproof. So what happens if it gets wet, or it's going to seep in pretty quickly. So please don't do that. I don't think it's a good idea.
Amazon has something you could pop it into for like $2. I think I'm starting to see like the really, not even just knockoffs, but if you want something that you could pop in just to make it like it, more useful, I think there's things out there already.
Yeah. So, but Jeff, you did an awesome video, as you have been. Your video collection is starting to really evolve here, which I'm really liking. And we'll definitely have links in the show notes for the one you just did about how to do everything with AirTag. So, what has been your experience so far? You don't obviously have to redo the whole video, but I think the listeners would be curious to hear what your impressions are and what you think.
So far, my AirTag has performed just as it should through all the tests that I've done, which is exactly what you want. The test that I was really curious to see how it would play out is the one that's in the video where I went outside and had someone take the AirTag and just walk away. And then I put the AirTag in lost mode and had to go find them. And to make this as realistic as possible, because when you're out in the real world with this stuff, most people are not going to be doing this with an iPhone 11 or an iPhone 12.
Right.
So I did it with an iPhone 10 and an iPhone 7, and the map took me right where I needed to go. And because I didn't have a U1 chip, when I got where I needed to go, it sent me 50 feet in the wrong direction. But still, I mean, I was like right there in visual range of my AirTag. So it worked just like it should. It worked well. And since then, I've done some testing with Siri to see how that would work. And the first time I did it, and I asked my HomePod where my backpack is, it said, "I'm sending that request to your phone." And I thought, well, that's a load of crap, because all I want you to do is tell me where my AirTag is. And but all my subsequent tests with that, my HomePod has said that my AirTag is here, and then pinged it. So I could hear it beeping. And that's worked with my HomePod and my iPhone. So that's great.
So there's my backpack.
Yeah.
Real fast with that. The dogs hate it. So
they do.
If the dogs are being bad, or I have one that just kind of like makes noises sometimes, you could turn on the ping on their collar, and it'll stop them right in their tracks, and they'll look around like this for about a minute or so. So it's perfect. It is perfect way.
Beautiful.
It's great. So it's like a good way to get their attention too. Ashley, it is like it could be useful in some situations if you're trying to get a dog and they won't come to you. It does kind of put them in a weird trance. I think they're onto something with this.
You should train your dog so that sound brings them to you.
I bet you could. Or makes them sit where they are.
Yeah.
Lola.
Yeah, just ping the dog. One thing that I want to try, which I have not yet, and I want to try this because I can do it with the tile. I want to see if I can set up shortcuts that take advantage of AirTags.
Oh, I want to do that too. I want to do an automation. Because
that could be another video.
So, Jeff, maybe you could figure this out. I have a Tesla, as I might have mentioned here and there. All right. The Tesla doesn't come with a garage door opener without you paying $300 for it for reasons, and I don't know why. So I've been on this journey to bypass this whole $300 thing. So I spent about $1,000 on different ways to try to get this to work without spending $300. So the best I've come up right now is I have two NFC tags in my car, stickers, one that opens the garage and one that closes it through automations from a shortcut, which works.
Okay, yep. So you're just tapping your phone on whatever.
Yeah, I have a smart garage. Yeah, I have a smart garage I still set up. So I want the $300 option. When you leave the house with the Tesla, the garage closes, and when you come, the garage opens. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish. And you could do it with your phone. I could make it so my phone is with me. It works because I could do an automation saying when I'm here or when I'm away.
Right?
Yeah, but that doesn't always work because I leave the house sometimes in different areas or in a different car. So I'm trying to get. So my idea was to throw an AirTag in my car, and as I'm telling Siri shortcuts or an automation, saying when this Tesla leaves this area, when this AirTag leaves the area, close the garage. And when the AirTag comes to the area, open it. So that's what I'm looking to do. I can't find any way to do it.
I love this idea. And
yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, I love the idea of getting to use an AirTag with geofencing.
Yeah.
And
actually, like if a dog runs away, get an alert. Like right now, if my dog runs off this property, off this geofence, I would like to get an alert saying that AirTag is moving further away from me. We don't have that either.
Yeah, which actually you can do with a tile.
Right. So this is good.
Yeah.
This is stuff they need to do. Exactly what you said. There needs to be shortcut integration. There needs to be automations with that.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. It's my feeling right now is that AirTag is nice, and if you are looking for a tracker system that's just part of the Apple ecosystem, and they're so easy to set up. AirTags are great. Right. If you already have a bunch of tiles, I'm actually doing this whole big comparison to decide, should I replace my tiles with AirTags? Mm-hmm. You know what? I should turn it into a video.
You should.
All right. Well, great. Now I'm committed. But honestly, right now, where I am, and I still have a lot more research to do, but where I am, I'm having a hard time justifying replacing my tiles with AirTags.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, you're still invested pretty heavily with it, and they still work.
And they still work. I mean, the big thing that I don't, well, there's a couple of things that you don't get, but the big thing that you don't get with a tile, when it's out of range, even though they have their wide network for tracking, you'll never see it again. It is not going to show up anywhere. But with an AirTag, there are over 1 billion iPhones out there potentially that could be used for telling you where your AirTag is. That's really compelling right there.
You talk to Dave, because Hamilton has the same issue, but he says the Tile app on his phone is killing his battery.
Yeah. Okay. See, that's one of the other issues right there. Yeah. I mean, as it stands, there, even if it was like a no-brainer for me to switch over, it doesn't make sense to do it right now, because where am I going to go? My tiles are primarily on my luggage,
right,
and my computer backpack.
You need to get a dog. You have a cat, don't you?
I have a cat.
Put it on the cat.
Yeah, put it on the office manager.
Yeah. Where's Cat? Oh, in the living room. Where's Cat? Oh, in the bedroom. Where's Cat? In the manager's chair behind. She probably is. Yeah, she's asleep in the manager's chair behind me.
Well, this way you could set off the Find My tone and see what happens.
And see what she
I'm
does.
pretty sure she would love that.
Jump to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Claws up.
Yep. that sounds about right. Yeah.
So, sounds like all in all, you've had a good experience, and everybody should check out the video you did on what you can do, everything you can do with the AirTag, and we talked about accessories. I'll give you my take on the AirTag. I have it on I started with my keychain and put it on there. I had the inexpensive Belkin one that Apple was selling for $12.95, I think it was. Fits nicely on there and on the keychain. It doesn't make it real heavy and bulky, which is nice and easy to track. Because there's plenty of times I've had situations where I was like, "Where the heck are my keys? I can't find them. What do I do with them?" So that's nice to be able to track them and be able to put
keys.
that. Yeah. I know I have the keyless entry, but I still have to have that. I know you have it on your phone, so
that's right. Warren lives in the future.
He's in the Tesla world.
My key ring hasn't been used in about a year. I
still have a house key.
No,
I don't have that. Yeah, I don't have those the keyless entry on my doors.
Just have to walk. In fact, I'm trying to figure out how not to have a wallet at this point, but we'll get there one day.
We're almost there with having your Apple Pay. So, so I had started with that, and then I got one in my backpack. So, make sure I don't leave that someplace and be able to scare the hell out of somebody but I didn't put it on a keychain. I just put it inside a pocket. I think a lot of people are going to do that. Same thing with luggage. I think you could probably put one in your piece of luggage. I'd be afraid people to steal it or take it if it's on the outside of your luggage, especially with the Hermes. People are paying all that money for the Hermes tag holders for $500-$400.
You probably steal the whole luggage set if you're putting a $500 keyring on the luggage. The luggage
you probably want what's inside the suitcase.
You probably want what's inside of it.
Yeah, you say, "Hey, here, steal me."
If it's worth that. Yeah.
But all in all, I think I'm happy with them. I got the 4. Probably my wife will probably get one and look at her on something she wants to be tracked, put it on her phone. So, but a couple things I wanted to touch on a little bit. we threw some I threw some articles in here. One thing was interesting already. People have figured out the developer mode. I don't know if you've explored this yet, Jeff, with being able to get in developer mode and start playing around with some.
I haven't played with it yet.
Yeah, so we'll link that in the show notes if anybody's interested in that. So there is some interesting things here. I don't know if I would really want to dive into that. Probably it's a pretty short article, so I don't think there's people. It's still too soon to tell where that's going to go. And the other thing, I think a lot of the big topics right now is people are worried about the anti-stock, trying the AirTag and anti-stalking measures. Are they? And I know this has been quite a debate with this, and this is actually in Mac Rumors. They're talking about the safeguards that Apple has put into the AirTags. They're still doubting it, and I find it hard to believe that people are not going to know that it's not in there. If they put it in their bag or their purse or wherever and not be able to find this. I think this is a little crazy. It sounds like you have some comments on that, Jeff.
Yeah. Holy crap. Seriously? This is where people are going with AirTag now?
Yeah.
Why have we not heard this about Tile?
Because Tiles can do it too, really.
Yeah. Do you know how many trackers there are out there? And I have never seen articles where people are freaking out about the trackability, unwanted trackability, like they are with AirTag. So, come on. I mean, Apple, I think, is actually doing a really good job of helping protect you, or at least make you aware when you're being tracked without your consent. And they make it really easy to disable the tracker. I mean, I tested this. You get the little alert that pops up on your screen and says, "Hey, there's this AirTag here." And then one of the first things it has is a link you tap to show you how to disable the tracker, and it just loads a web page. It shows you how to pop the battery cover off. And once you do that, it doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, easy.
I seriously, I am not. Well, okay, I am getting why we're seeing all of this this freak out over the AirTags, because it's Apple. But still, at the same time, I don't get it. Why are people freaking out over this tracker as opposed to any other? But it's Apple.
What do you think, Warren? Do you think this is crazy?
Oh, I mean, you put a thing that tracks things on somebody, it's going to track things. That's what it does. As Jeff said, I have, for the dog when she was a puppy, before AirTags was a thing, I bought a Samsung GPS tracker that I used for a little bit while she was younger. And it's like $60-70, and it came with a year's free service of the GPS service. So it was just $60 outright for that year. Yeah. And you know what? It worked. And you know what? I could throw it into your backpack or, into your car, and you would not know it was there. So there's been this. Apple's not the first, tracking device company. So I think I think they pick on Apple because of a couple things. One, they're going to be more popular because they're cool and the price is good and everybody has phones, and it's going to be a more popular thing. They're small. They're easy to they're probably the smallest tracking device I've seen. They're smaller than Tiles.
I've seen some that are substantially smaller.
Okay,
the point is they are all really small.
They are small. So, I mean, they are easy to toss into something. But the main reason is Apple touts. It's, Apple's going to go out there saying we're secure, we're private, we do everything that we can, and people are going to pick it apart. Where the other companies are like, yeah, I guess you could throw it on something and then it'll, show you where they are. That's what it does. So, and Apple is trying not to have that happen, and people are going to try to prove them wrong, as they usually try to do.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing I wanted to mention too is and add to this crazy stuff that now you have anti-stalking. You also have child safety concerns. Now they're saying that the tracker is now facing a child concern about the replaceable battery, which we know the CR2032 is a battery that needs to be kept away from a child. But in order to be able to get into the AirTag, I mean, it does take quite a bit to twist it out and open it to get in to get the battery. So why are they making a huge deal out of this too? I understand it's safety concerns, but and I think it was like in Australia and not really in the U.S. Not in the U.S. It's really Australia regulations.
It's a big store chain in Australia.
Yeah. Okay. So the way that works in Australia, I looked into this because it just seemed weird to me. So the way the laws or regulations work in Australia, if a store, a retailer, feels like a product does not comply with the health and safety guidelines of the country, they can initiate their own voluntary recall of the product, which is an ominous way of saying we're not going to put it out on the shelves. And that's what's happened. One of these retailers is looking at the AirTag and they feel like it does not comply with Australia's guidelines, and it does though. The way that battery cover works, it meets the worldwide safety guidelines. So it's a two-step process. You have to push the silver part in, and then you have to twist it counterclockwise or anti-clockwise, depending on how you like to say it, what part of the world you're in, and that's it. So if you're a kid, like a small child, a child that's more likely to say, "Oh, this battery looks like something I should eat," it's going to be far more difficult for them to get that open. Yeah. So
it's just crazy.
No, but of course, it doesn't matter what the product is. We should always look at products with a critical eye to make sure that they actually are safe for ourselves, for our pets, for our children.
Yeah.
That's just a good thing to do anyhow. But in this case, I think that a lot of media outlets are making this into a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Where they're making it sound like Australia has initiated a recall, a product recall, and that has not happened.
Yeah. So that was basically some of the coverage of the AirTag for us. Obviously, we'll continue to use these devices, use these AirTags, and then let you know if anything we find is more exciting of its uses beyond what we discussed today. So, and also I wanted to talk a little bit about the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro M1 went on sale for pre-order last week as we record this. I decided to stay with what I have. I have the 11-inch iPad Pro with 256 gigabytes, and they gave me a decent price to trade it in, $455, which I think wasn't too bad for an iPad that's now 3 years old. So I thought that was a pretty fair price, and decided to stick with the same size and iPad with the 256 gigabytes, which will give me 8 gigs of RAM, which is more than enough for me, and better screen. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the performance is going to be. It looks like ship dates for the 11-inch is not too bad. I just looked it up now, and I think the dates are still the same, like towards the end of May when they're going to be shipped, which is pretty cool. Warren, I know you were thinking about going with the 12.9-inch. Did you pull the trigger and decide to do it?
Yeah, I did sell the 11 and the accessories, and I did not pull the trigger. I didn't pull it right away because I'm going to be away when it's shipping, when it was shipping at that point, so I didn't want to do that. And then I waited a little bit, and I'm like, now it's going into June, and then I really want to pick it up to the store because I don't want to, just for reasons.
Sure.
Reasons. And then
that clearance from the tower and needs to happen, and it's not.
I mean, yeah, she might notice. Anyways, but the I think there's a 50-50 of them being available in stores around the end of May. I think the hype machine always does this, even for, it's been done before where you're like, you're not going to get this product for months and months. I think it just happened with the AirPod Pros, the overhead, right? They were saying you can't get them. And then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks after or a week later, people could get them in the stores. So especially there's so many different, sizes and anyways, I think I'm going to go for the 12.9 256 gig version. And my plan is to not get the Magic Trackpad again because I liked it, but I didn't love it. I'm more interested in the it's the Logitech one. Is that the one that Apple's selling? Either Logitech or
Logitech. There's a Bridge one too.
The Bridge one too, but there are a few that's like $299. So I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
Then part of me is like, maybe I don't want to wait, and maybe I don't need 12.9. Maybe I'll just get the 11 again. And then, like right now, you could get a really good deal on the 2020 12.9. And part of me is like, I just really wanted the bigger screen. Do I really need the M1? Do I really need it? So I'm sort of all over the place at this point. But I am iPadless, which is a little strange.
That's kind of scary.
It's scary. I can continue to use my iPad.
I just looked at pre-ordering an iPad Pro with in-store pickup, and it says currently not available. So what I'm wondering is if when we get to release day, if you're right, if we'll be able to.
It'll be the end of May probably is when it's going to be.
Yeah.
I know some items you could do. I thought the iMac you could do in-store pickup. They gave you that option, the new iMac, but I thought there's no option for in-store pickup throughout this whole process.
Right.
Even in the beginning. So I would have done that if even if it was like in mid-June. If it was mid-June, I would do it in store pickup too. But I think between Best Buy or Apple or Target, so many stores sell them, and I know that they start getting these shipments like a week after Apple gets them in their stores. So I'm not terribly worried. So we'll see, and I'm sure you're getting one delivered the 20th, 21st.
Yeah, I pre-ordered the same. Well, I didn't do it. I knew it wasn't going to be too much of a concern because there's usually never a big run, especially now with the hype was on the 12.9, so I ordered it a little later in the day. But because I wanted to make sure the trade-in worked right. So when you're doing it, you wake up at 7 a.m. That's my time to fumble around trying to order an iPad. I want to make sure the trade-in works right too. But I get to hold on to my trade-in for now until it ships. So at least I'm not iPadless. So I'll get to keep. I'll continue to use it until I have to send it back. So, and Jeff, are you staying with what you have, or were you looking to upgrade?
I'm sticking with my current 12.9 iPad Pro for now.
Yeah.
So I have the one that's right before LiDAR, and
2018.
18.
Yeah, I mean. It's a great iPad.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, if I was in a position where I was traveling a lot, I probably would be pulling the trigger immediately, just so that I have a more powerful machine on the road. But using my iPad at home, if I need something that goes beyond what I'm doing with the iPad, well, I'm sitting at my desk with my MacBook Pro. I have everything I need. So, we'll see once travel is more common for me again. Or since I'm doing all my video editing on my iPad Pro and LumaFusion, if I decide that the performance just isn't what I want, all right, well, then we'll look at the new one. But holy crap, that 2018 iPad Pro.
And that's what I have now. And
it just chews through my video rendering. No problem.
I can make you an offer.
Well, we can talk.
Because if I don't buy an iPad when it comes out, I'm just putting all my money in Dogecoin.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. One other thing I mentioned.
May not be joking. Go ahead.
One other thing I'll mention, with the iPad Pro 12.9 inch, there I put a link in the show notes here that it will cost you $699 to repair a broken 12.9 inch without Apple Care. So I think Apple Care might be some.
It's the price of the iPad Air.
Yeah.
If you have an Apple device that's mobile and you don't buy Apple Care,
you're crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy. You always need to get Apple Care on any sort of mobile device you make. That includes laptops.
I do laptops and phones. I've never done the iPad for. I've never. I mean, it goes outside the house. You travel with it, but you're always kind of at a home base where you're using it. I think.
Well, the first time you drop it and the screen breaks,
yes,
you'll be buying Apple Care on it.
Yeah.
From that point forward. But that's okay. I mean, if you haven't needed it, then because it's a gamble. They're gambling you're not going to break your product when you buy Apple Care, and you're gambling that you will. And so we flipped it around, and you're gambling you're not going to break it, so you haven't paid for it, and so far you're winning.
Yeah, on that. I mean, I do the laptops and phone, and I've gotten my money's worth some years, and some years I haven't. So, again, the phone, I've never accidentally damaged it, but it's come in handy for other reasons when it breaks, and they're really good. They'll give you a new. I've walked out with a brand new phone after Apple Care, so it's always been good for me. But I've been lucky with the iPad. Definitely don't put Apple Care on your Apple TV though. I saw that last week. You could get that.
$29. Ooh.
Yeah, I can't imagine any.
It might fall off the shelf when your cat knocks it over.
If it falls off the shelf and a cat taps it over, I'm going back to Apple and saying it doesn't work. And then what are they going to say?
They're going to say that the case is cracked and how that happened. You'll be like, that's how you sold it to me. I thought they were supposed to all look like that.
No, the case never cracks. It's like the Mac Mini. It's solid aluminum. It's fine.
Yeah.
What is the Apple TV made of? Is it aluminum or is it plastic?
It's plastic.
Right?
It's plastic. All right. Well, I think we've brought this show to a close this week, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios, and you also can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. But better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. And Jeff, thanks for being here as always. Please tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, thank you for having me again. Seriously, I have a lot of fun with both of you. People can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Jay Gamet both places. Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays. The Big Show on Thursdays. The Mac Show on Fridays. And on my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/jgamet.
Great. Thanks for being here. And Warren, anything exciting going on with Mac to the Future? I saw some good posts this week.
I can't remember much going on. It doesn't matter. I'm always here just to say thank you to Jeff for coming. I think I have a YouTube channel. But I don't.
Just like you have a Twitter channel, like you have a Twitter handle and you don't use it either.
I have a Twitter handle I don't use either, but once in a while.
You should make videos of you trying to find your dogs.
Yeah.
I could do that, or the face they make when you set off the Find My.
Oh, you got to record that. I want to see
totally.
that.
No, that's fun. I'm going to record that. I'm going to post it.
Or at least put it in the Facebook group so we can see it.
I'm going to email this to Tim Cook and say, listen, I think we have something going on here. We could, put like a secret dog whistle in this thing and make them like just freeze in their tracks.
But you know what's they're going to say? We're not liable for that.
we're not liable if your dog sits there and looks into space like, what the hell's happening and what is this noise? We're not responsible for that face they make.
So we'll look forward to that. We'll be definitely looking forward to that. So, all right, everybody, appreciate you listening. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk again soon.